Everyone's talking about this direwolf that was cloned by this biotech company in Dallas. Now, this type of species has been extinct for over 10 to 12,000 years, and now they're back due to cloning. And this, of course, led everyone on the internet to this frenzy of cloning dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, human cloning. You can imagine how this thing got out of hand. 17 million views, almost 300,000 likes. George Martin holds the first new direwolf born in 10,000 years. There's even a cute video where you can see them howling. Like I said before, this led a lot of people down this very bizarre rabbit hole of human cloning.
One of the first original public clones was Michael Jackson.
What?
Yes.
Well, I met like 5 or 6 different Kanye. The last 2 was a little bit.
If I ever went anywhere, we know why. You understand what I'm saying?
Why is it forbidden? Has it ever happened? If so, for how long has it been happening, and what purposes would it be used for?
They can be attached to a computer chip and have better processing power than our most advanced AI.
Cloning techniques, since 1938, they've been making clone people.
So let's take a deeper dive into this very crazy theory, because after all, this is all just a theory. There's no evidence of such a thing. Or is there? This account explains very neatly how the theory of human clones began.
A lot of people wonder, why haven't we cloned humans yet? But the truth is, we actually found out how to clone them about 7 years ago. And a lot of people believe that some celebrities were actually and then cloned, like Kanye and Britney.
Wait a minute.
None of my pictures or posts are more than a month old. Yes, I know I did wear the same top 17 times, but it's for a Project Rose. And you will be seeing way more of Project Rose in the future.
Wait a minute. Project Rose? My gosh. What about Kanye? So there's a bunch of videos when it comes to Kanye West, and I guess it's not just Kanye. People speculate that there are famous people who clone themselves for different reasons. We'll take a look at it in a few minutes. Let's just first finish this video.
In 1996, a sheep named Dolly was successfully cloned. It took many tries, but it worked, and in 1996, technology wasn't as advanced as it is now. In 2002, there was a company called Clonaid. They claimed they cloned a human baby called Eve, however, there was no evidence of this, and they said they didn't release any to protect the family. Now, when this happened, governments around the world banned human cloning. Also, Clonaid was formed by a Raelian cult. Then they were shut down by the FDA, and they moved to the Bahamas to continue. In 2004, they claimed that they had successfully cloned about 14 people.
Wait, what? It's a UFO religion. This cult believed aliens encourage cloning for immortality. Huh.
The company is still up and running. 2007, another group managed to clone human embryos by adding caffeine. 2018, monkeys were cloned, making it the first primates. And after that, cloning was only really talked about in animals. Based on this info, do you think clones exist?
Well, so if they're capable of cloning primates, it's very possible that they're able to clone humans. Wow, they actually exist. This is really bizarre. It's like a site that was abandoned in 2009. Found this from CBC on their archives. Let's take a look at this.
Very, very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. She was born yesterday at 11:55 a.m. in the country where she was born. So this will not give you more details about the location. She's fine. We call her Eve between us. I thought that this press conference will be with the baby, the parents, the scientists, everybody surrounding me, and having pleasure announcing it. I'm alone.
Yeah, why not?
And there is a reason to that. Is that
why?
It hasn't been easy to face the world with this announcement, and we have been discussing with the parents the last 3 months how we would handle today.
Where is this company from? So this Clonaid company is somehow connected to a UFO movement and extraterrestrials, immortality, that sort of thing. Really sounds far-fetched, but the question is, why were they live in several different media outlets. Why was it given importance? Why were they taken seriously? So this is all very shady and somewhat hard to believe, but at the same time, nowadays, I think we would have that technology.
Sac is implanted into the base of the neck, and all of your information, like where you're from, all your experiences, your emotion, who you know, are downloaded onto a DHF called Digital Human Frame.
Now let's go back to Kanye and Britney and other celebrities and why people believe that certain famous people sometimes get cloned if they don't follow a script. So I guess that the strangest and oldest story about cloning began in the 1960s with the Beatles after Paul McCartney was allegedly replaced by another man or a clone. Now here's a video from Ripley's and how this very crazy theory started, and after it, I'll show you guys something even stranger.
Here's how the conspiracy went. Paul died on November 9th, 1966. He drove away from Abbey Road late at night and ended up wrecking his car and never making it home. He was officially pronounced dead, OPD, on Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock. The other Beatles decided to keep the news private, so Wednesday morning papers didn't report the accident.
I understand that the reason that they decided to keep this quiet was because of a mass civil unrest that could happen in the country. At the time, they were very famous and people were going crazy over the band.
Forward and kept Paul's death a secret by replacing him with a look-alike. So how does any of this play into the Beatles' lore? Here's what fans have found. Starting with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the most prominent discovery came when a fan decided to hold a mirror up just under the three main members of the band. The writing on the kick drum spells out what appears to be a secret message. 119 he die, read as 119 he die, with an arrow pointing directly to Paul. Fans found even more to justify their on the back cover of the album. For one, Paul is the only Beatle with his back turned. On the gatefold of the album, Paul is seen wearing a badge that looks as though it spells OPD. Fans believe the acronym meant officially pronounced dead. On their following studio album, The Beatles, The White Album, there are also other clues fans have spotted.
But when it comes to hidden messages found in the Beatles albums, well, there were many of them, and some of them pointed to the fact that Paul was possibly replaced. This is one of them.
Moving on to the music, the song Glass Onion contains a very obvious wink to the fans, as if John is confirming they're on to something.
Well, here's another clue for you all. The walrus was Paul.
At the end of I'm So Tired, we hear some gibberish. But when we play this backwards, we hear John say, Paul is dead man, miss him, miss him, miss him. Finally, if we play the beginning of Revolution 9 backwards, we hear probably the most convincing piece of evidence. Turn me on, dead man. Yellow Submarine provides almost no clues other than yet another hand above Paul. Moving on to Abbey Road, the cover shows the Beatles walking away from what appears to be a cemetery. John leads a procession dressed in white, looking Christ-like with his long hair. Ringo follows, dressed in black, resembling an undertaker. Paul walks behind, out of step with the rest of the Beatles and holding a cigarette in his right hand, contrary to the real Paul, who is left-handed. This Paul is also barefoot, suggesting a George takes up the rear, dressed in denim, resembling a gravedigger.
Besides the songs, which contain reverse messaging, and they're kind of weird, there's something really odd about the fact that Paul was not wearing shoes on that specific photograph on Abbey Road. In this specific video by James Corden in his Carpool Karaoke in 2023, he asks Paul, why weren't you wearing shoes in Abbey Road? This is what he says.
Yeah, we did the Abbey Road cover. We decided we would make that the cover, so we were going to have a photograph on the level crossing. So it was a very hot day, and I arrived in sandals. So I thought, well, I'll just kick them off because it's too hot. Anyway. So I ended up barefoot on there.
Yeah, so he says, it was a hot day, so I just kick him off. That doesn't make sense. If it was a hot day and he was barefoot on asphalt, it would burn his feet. August 8th, 1969. Let's take a look at this. So it was a very hot day apparently. This other fan says something even more interesting, and let's not forget this was the same day that the Manson family Tate were taking place. And I actually checked it out on August 8th, 1969. Now, I'm not sure how this relates to the Beatles, but what a coincidence. Now, there's a bunch of strange stuff when it comes to the Beatles, but most likely all of these things are just coincidences. Now, let's just say for the sake of this video that they aren't. Could it be that he was replaced by Billy Shears like some believe, or was it a clone? But did human cloning exist in 1966? (2001). Wait a minute, let's use other search engines.
And this is the place it's most likely to happen, clinic outside of New York. Behind those walls, there are people with the technology, the ability, and the desire to genetically engineer human embryos, to be the first in the world to successfully clone a human being.
So since 1999, let's see if we can find more info on this. Okay, I found this guy over here. George Green exposes human cloning. They've been making people since 1938? What?
Kids have a different method called...
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, walking, talking ones.
Meaning through genetics? You're not talking about that?
Well, let me tell you. The movie shows it, but I'll share it with you right now.
All right.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body. Yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the Greys.
Wait a minute. This goes completely in line with Clonaid, supposedly cloning the first human being in 2002. Clonaid was taken seriously by the outlets. They had this press conference about it, and if you research about them, they are totally connected with the group of people who believe that extraterrestrials gave us the technology to become immortals. So, this is really weird.
Now, the reason was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. Since 1938, they've been making clone people.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally.
That kind of sounds like what's happening with certain celebrities and famous people, doesn't it? But this is, again, very far-fetched. It's a stretch. So searching a bit more, I found this post on Reddit. Human cloning is 100% real. And in it, someone posts this link to a forum that deals only with the possibility of celebrities being cloned. I also found this video from 2022, even though I'm not sure if I trust it. Let's take a look at this.
Freeze your body. Well, what happened with my first gen is they took the skull because he initially had written in a will to the Rayleigh movement that if something were to happen to him, they can ship the skull over immediately to Clonaid. So they can remove a fragment of bone that's located here. And in this fragment of bone, it stores all of your memories and consciousness. And with that, they can make a sufficient replica of yourself, a reproductive version of you, including your memories. And you can be selective as to which ones you keep or don't keep. This process has been around for quite some time. Like Dolly the sheep was cloned back in, I think, the late 70s, early 80s, if I'm not mistaken.
Dolly the sheep, yeah, I remember that. And they cloned a lot of animals.
Yeah, Clonaid, don't want to say too much information. This is going to be broadcasted on the internet.
Could actually freeze your body.
So this is Kid Buu talking about how he was cloned by Clonaid, and this is his second version, and apparently Clonaid isn't very open about the things that they do. And this is how this very strange story with Kid Buu started, even though a lot of people dismissed this as a hoax, and it could be. But let's take a look at this.
About being cloned. Yo, come over here. Sure you want me to do this? Yeah, fuck that shit. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, so this is live. No way.
We got the same tattoos, same hair, same genetic structure. Hey, look at my clone. Go ahead. What do you gotta say now? I mean, I'll wait all day. We gonna go live, bro. I mean, we gonna go viral. We're gonna go real viral on this one.
So this is a really shady video because he's live on Instagram, And as I understand, it's very difficult to fake videos when you're live. This is strange, but there's more. Just a couple of weeks ago, on March 28th, a video was published. I think this is a podcast, and it's coming in from Sean Mike Kelly's page. Check this out.
One of the first original public clones was Michael Jackson.
What?
Yes. So if you take a look at Michael Jackson, right? Oh, he had plastic surgery. This is why they're making plastic surgery really popular, quote unquote, because they can basically deduce, oh, the celebrity had plastic surgery. It's not a clone. It's plastic surgery. That's why they look different, right? So Michael Jackson was their first sort of test run for cloning. And specifically the reason why they replaced him with a clone was because he was saying too much.
He was, right?
He was.
He was talking, you know, out of bounds, quote unquote, because they couldn't control him anymore. And he wanted to wake people up. So they kicked him off. They replaced him with a clone. And that's why his skin got whiter. That's why his face got more gaunt.
Why would they clone him in a different skin tone? I've never heard about this theory before. On December last year, a video was published by Dark Predictions of Shania Twain. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but this is weird. Check this out.
This is the evolution of Shania Twain from 2000 to 2024, the present, and you are not going to believe what she looks like now. It looks like she's swapped out for a completely different person. She's looking like 22 again, although she's 59. She's almost 60 years old. As you can see, 2025 here, and these few years, she's looking like she's aging appropriately. Everything's looking fine. And at some point, it looks like she just gets swapped out with another person. As you can see here, going into 2010, 2011.
Everything looks normal. Okay.
Look middle-aged. And now at this point, as a record label, maybe her, money is hurting from concerts. So they're like, you need a new look. Maybe we need to swap you out with a clone. Maybe we need to give you a new look. I don't know which one it is, guys. You guys gotta let me know what you think, because she's looking older, progressively older, looking like a grandma. And then suddenly, here we go, guys, in just a second, she's gonna completely transform and be 22 again. This person right here, 59-year-old, suddenly goes to this. This was interesting, part of the transformation. But then this, where does this come from? And that.
What?
Can you explain?
Nah, come on. What?
2 years old again, guys? Like, what are these people taking?
Technology nowadays is crazy, and you also have skincare, but that's wild. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. She's 60 years old. That is crazy. In 2022, Paranormalio published a video saying clone malfunction. Check this out.
They just malfunctioned.
That was weird.
Sometimes they just malfunction.
What is going on? That was really weird. And then you got the Britney Spears thing going on. This thing that Britney Spears was supposedly cloned. Check this out.
Look at the reflection in Sam's glasses. Something is very off about this, and I'm really worried about Britney, because you can clearly see that she is not in this picture. The reflection shows Sam taking this picture of himself, and this is absolutely not Britney Spears and Sam together. Everything about it looks off. I mean,
well, yeah, I don't see her in the picture. And then there's this video posted in 2022. Look at the glass reflection. Again, the glasses. So people are suggesting that maybe in a green screen room, Sam could have digitalized Britney Spears to show up in certain videos when in reality, she wasn't there. Now this is one crazy theory and there's very little evidence or even no evidence to support this, but in the technological world that we live today, it's not impossible. Then there was this thing about Kanye West where he was at a show and he talked too much, and after that he was hospitalized the next day if I'm not mistaken, and then when he showed up again, people were pretty sure that it wasn't him. Take a look at this.
And they wanted to medicate me every day. You realize, like, they could have just switched to medication and I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue, right? Yeah. I ain't never been back to the hospital since 2015, but every time they say I'm crazy, it's just when I'm saying the truth. So what's the crazy part, really? What's the crazy part, really?
They can't scare you, they can't control you.
Doing it holy.
Kanye 2024.
If I ever went anywhere, we know why. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Now this thing about Kanye West is really weird. Either he took advantage of something, made a bunch of stuff up, and became a trending topic for what, a year? Or he was telling the truth and something happened to him.
How's Kanye? You have love for him?
I met like 5 or 6 different Kanye.
Do you remember when he was
The first 4 was awesome. The last 2 was a little bit.
Couldn't you be like, do a Steve Harvey, be like, enough of this foolishness?
No, music is sort of like a mind your business thing.
Watch The Rabbit Hole posted this in 2022.
Avril Lavigne was replaced. There is a theory that states Avril Lavigne took her own life in 2003 due to the pressures of fame and her grandfather's passing. However, due to her success, the record label buried the news and used the body double, Melissa Vandella, who was initially hired to distract paparazzi to replace her. This theory is backed with photos of Avril pre-2004 and post-2004. When put side by side, you can see many differences, including skin blemishes and slight differences in looks. On top of that, her handwriting also changed, and her normal speaking voice was also different. In one promotional shoot, she even had Melissa written on her hand, leading many to think that.
Yeah, that's weird. I remember that photo shoot. Then you got videos like this posted in 2023 by Jake Snowdenks. And in it, you got these bunch of pictures of people who, well, take a look for yourself.
Think you are correct. They live multiple lives and get to choose what life they wanted to do. Don't get me wrong. Genetics do pass on, but they literally look the same.
Of dudes that look like you. So they just think that you've been on the earth since you've just been around, there's just different generations. I just wanted to show you just stardust, baby. I know, that's what is my name? But that's the real
Oh, that's
revolutionary. Got the eyes.
Now this theory is way far-fetched, but if we take into consideration the possibility of cloning and immortality and aliens, well, it's a stretch, but it could make sense. It just keeps on going. If you search for this kind of thing, you'll find endless videos about it. This was posted by Darius Hart in 2024, just a few months ago.
I don't know what to believe anymore because after seeing this video, it has completely changed everything. In case you guys didn't know, this is Britney Murphy. Britney was
I remember her
in 1977 in Atlanta, Georgia. Debuted her first role in 1971 in Brown Murphy. Continued making roles to where she even got to the point where she was featured in 8 Mile. Married Ashton Kutcher and even went all the way to the extent of being a voice actor in Happy Feet. Sadly enough, she passed away in 2009. But a lot of people pointed their fingers at who she looked like, which is just like Ariana Grande. Apparently, people are speculating that they cloned Britney Murphy and they made Ariana Grande. They said that they did this because they could save money on profits. And instead of bringing somebody new to be famous, they just cloned her.
I think I just met my dad in 1985.
Well, once again, I see the differences between one person and the other. I think they really do look alike, but not sure about it. Got the Britney Murphy and Ariana Grande, which is a stretch, but then you got this interview in Joe Rogan with this guy, and they're discussing how China has been cloning humans for quite a while.
Still to this day, so they were cloning them, and then they were genetically modifying them. And so they're doing lots of things that are, there's a general moratorium in the world on some of these things around humans, anything that's considered a germline edit. So anything that could be passed on to the next generation.
Yeah, so apparently they were indeed cloning humans. 2018. Wow. Yeah, so this is pretty crazy. If China's been cloning people secretly, imagine the things that we don't know about. Anyways, leave a comment. What do you think about all this? Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel with the notifications on, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.